Before we get started, please subscribe to this channel if you're not already, and if you are, double check that you are still subscribed with the notification bell ringing. Their tube is playing games with conservative channels, so we are not monetized. Our ability to bring you this content depends on contributions and book sales. Please also subscribe to our backup channels so you won't miss anything. President Trump's recent moves with trade deals and USMCA is the first stage of a financial reset. Record unemployment and record stock market gains affect your IRAs and 401ks. Make sure you get that right. Don't be a libtard and think that gains on Wall Street only affect the wealthy. I know. I worked for IBM 25 years in banking and brokerage. I was check processing Eastern Region Specialist for 6 years. The President's Federal Reserve restructuring includes the nomination of Judy Shelton and Chris Waller to the Federal Reserve Board, who are both against fiat currency. No, not the car company. The portrait of Andrew Jackson in the Oval Office is no coincidence either. Jackson was notoriously against the idea of central banks. The Federal Reserve, as most of you know, is neither federal nor does it have any reserves. It is a privately held bank which has been ripping off Americans since 1913 and has never been audited. I told you all of this months ago. The long-range plan is to take U.S. currency out of the hands of the Federal Reserve. Word from reliable sources back then was that new U.S. currency was already printed and being stored at a Native American Indian reservation in Utah. No further information is forthcoming, but a currency reset would instantly benefit the whole of mankind by instantly eviscerating globalist scumbags like Rothschild, Soros, Pasteur, Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, Wells Fargo, and others. It would also bankrupt the drug cartels, bankrupt the Vatican Bank, eliminate human trafficking, expose and stop child trafficking, destroy offshore tax shelters, negate Trader 44's billions in cash to Iran, stop the North Korean counterfeiting of U.S. money in its tracks, return trillions of stolen money to the taxpayers, who it was stolen from since 1913, totally eliminate the IRS and personal income tax, which is unconstitutional to begin with, instantly negate all transactions where money was not earned legitimately, effectively negate all personal debt where contractual payments are made in dollars, since dollars no longer legally exist and the paper would be worthless and could not be laundered for even pennies on the dollar because the paper would be absolutely worthless. The value of currency recovered would suffice to have a national jubilee where all debts are nullified in their entirety. In other words, the wealth stolen from our parents, their parents, and going back over 100 years, all of that wealth would be restored to this generation. Of course, with that much cheddar floating around, some means to control inflation has to be put in place. Otherwise, the new currency, let's call it a quatlu or Q for short, wouldn't be worth a lit fart in a wool mitten in short order. Some might say we need to go back to a gold standard. This was only viable when gold was $35 an ounce before Tricky Dick Nixon fucked us on that deal. Besides, all the gold ever mined by humans on this planet would fill only 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools. The largest estimate is about 150,000 tons, with about 55 tons still in the ground waiting to be mined. If you do the math, the price of an ounce of gold to secure thousands of trillions of dollars, or the equivalent Qs, would be in the hundreds of millions. The reason for the gold standard in the first place was to prevent the government from printing paper and thereby devaluing the rest of the supply. In other words, theft by inflation. It didn't work then, and it certainly didn't work after Nixon incrementally turned our coinage into worthless neon steel brass pewter solder monopoly tiddlywinks. What will work is a registry of bill serial numbers tied to multiple random number RFID chips embedded in the bills. If the printed serial number doesn't match the embedded chips in the Treasury ledger, the bill is counterfeit and could not be deposited in a bank. All major transactions could be instantly tracked, quid pro quos could be instantaneously forensically proven and illegal transactions instantly flagged and criminals apprehended. As for cryptocurrency, it is fiat money without the paper. Nobody knows who's accountable, and if an account disappears one day, there is no brick-and-mortar business and no customer service to help recover your loss. In other words, you're screwed. In my opinion, cryptocurrency is like trading pork belly futures on the commodity exchange. You can make out like a bandit if you're an insider, but even so, you can lose everything overnight. All of this might be the reason why we've seen no high-level arrests for treason. However, we have seen asset forfeiture in several cases, but it will never be reported or confirmed. We have seen the execution of the Nazi Poppy Bush and No Name. This was verified by live on-air Freudian slips, if you recall. The worst thing that could happen to these apparencies of human beings is that they wake up one day without a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. You now have a bit more understanding about why globalist demon rats have such animus against President Trump. He is in their league financially, but he never had any affiliation with the Pettivore Traitors Club. He saw what was going on and has given up a great retirement and put himself and his family in the crosshairs of the most evil demons on the planet to save the United States of America. In other breaking news, the FBI has arrested 3 domestic terrorist assholes who were planning assaults on Patriots at the Virginia rally on the 20th. They're lucky the Patriots didn't find them first. Could have saved the taxpayers all that money for trials for low-life scumbags who are not entitled to trials. With that, my good friends, I'll bid you all good night. Tony and I want to thank you all for your support. Without your help, we don't know where we would have ended up. We're still not out of the woods yet, but with the Lord's help and your prayers, we will continue to do what we do here until the Lord calls us home. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe to our backup channels, Net4Truth USA 2 Patriot channel, BitChute.com/net4Truth USA, and drop.space /@Net4Truth USA. We fly so close to the target, we are on our 5th fighter jet. We will be relentless and persistent until the enemies of freedom are defeated. You can support this channel by using the links in the description, but for a $100 donation, I will personally send you a autographed hardcover special edition copy of Land of Childhood's Fears. Also, visit my bookstore at lulu.com/Net4Truth USA. If you are viewing this video on BitChute, you can use the links in the description to support us, or simply click the green $ dot on our video to support this channel. Thank you. Links are in the description section.